the optionality question. The markets are continuing to scramble to try and reset Fed expectations. Are we hearing from Fed hawk Waller that he's maybe sounding a bit less hawkish?
Well, what I think what's maybe starting to sink into a lot of us is, look, the Fed cannot raise rates forever. The question is, how high will they have to go? And clearly, as more and more of them say, yeah, I could see doing a 50 basis point hike in the not too distant future, basically, that they can see that that's the place they're approaching. Chris Waller matters so much because he was out front on the Federal Reserve, one of the newest board of governors there, certainly the last 2 years, but one of the first to say we've got to start hiking rates. Inflation is a problem. So when he says that he's getting more comfortable with a 50 base rate hike in December, we sit up and listen. Now, he also said he expects rates to continue to rise well into next year, and he needs to see more data. There'll be another jobs report and another inflation report before the December 16th meeting. So the jury's still out, I guess that's what he's saying. Now, in terms of retail sales, it's interesting that people are talking, Fed officials are talking about, well, we can start going a little bit slower when they saw a surprisingly strong number, up 1.3% for retail sales in October, and they were flat the month before. Auto sales were up 1.3%. And yes, higher gasoline prices at the pump. This is a nominal report. It's not adjusted for inflation. Did help make this number even higher. But Bloomberg Economics says, look, when you tear it apart, this still supports the Fed continuing to hike rates. Mary Daly basically repeating what she said, but it's clear that she wants to send a message that she sees the terminal rate, the rate to get restrictive enough, is probably going to be 4.75% to 5.25% in the first half of next year. Pause and holds in sight. But it's just saying you're open to a slower pace, not a pause yet. Esther George, speaking to the Wall Street Journal, she's president of the Kansas City Fed, says she's seeing a growing risk of inflation getting entrenched. They're going to possibly have to get much more aggressive. She says in her 40 years of covering the economy, being at the Federal Reserve, she says curbing inflation has not been possible without something like a recession, and she's seeing more likelihood of that.